we have, what is the correct name for the binary ionic compound Cu2S? So binary just means it's composed of two things, just so you don't get confused by that. So correct name for Cu2S. So there's a little bit of a trick here, okay? So the first thing we have to do is I actually prefer to actually go by the anion here. The reason being is that copper is a transition metal. So that one is kind of always in the air of what you will decide in terms of like the actual charge of it is. So we'll go with the givens, kind of like the whole oxidation number thing, because sulfur is, you know, on the 16th column. So it typically likes to have six valence electrons. Okay, so usually to get full, they just like to add 2 more. So that's why it'd be for sulfur ion, you typically have that sulfur 2 minus, because then it gets 2 more for it to be complete, and that would be a sulfide ion. So with that being said, we have something like this, okay, because it's just the element by itself as the anion, you have the name sulfur, you drop the ending, okay, and you add IDE. This is the sulfide ion. You can also see it once again in the electron configuration. Yep, we're going to do that as well. Start with neon because it's the most recent noble gas, and then you keep going. It'll be 3s2, 3p4. As you see here, it also has, you know, 6 valence electrons. So instead of getting rid of all these 6, you'd rather just change that little part and add 2 more, so it becomes like the noble gas argon. So this would be the electron configuration of that sulfide ion. Point being, overall, this is sulfide, S2 minus. Okay, but now we know that copper had to have come with 2 of itself to match that 2 minus charge. So in order to figure out the charge of each copper, okay, we need to divide the 2 minus charge. Okay, well, technically 2 plus, because that's what the copper is going to have to be able to balance that out. You need 2 plus to balance the 2 minus. We're going to divide that by the amount of coppers it says, so 2. So that means each copper had to have a charge of +1. So that would be the copper charge. Now, when it comes to transition metals, there's a specific way to name these, okay? You have to put in parentheses what type of copper it is, hence the charge. When it's, you know, I'll just list of numbers, but if it has like 1 electron being lost, it'd be the copper 1, and it would have the 1 in parentheses, but as a what's that called again? That type of numbering, Roman numeral. There we go. Roman numeral 1. If it gave up 2 electrons, it would have the Roman symbol for 2 right there. Okay, but that's what you put in the parentheses. So for this, you would still have to write out the name copper. Okay, and now the parentheses, you would have just the Roman numeral for 1, and then you would just add the name for sulfide. And this right here is going to be the correct name for copper. It still will be called copper sulfide or copper 1 sulfide, but that'll be the correct name for it. Okay, so see what we have here. Luckily for us, we have B, because A, copper sulfide, that's not specific enough, so that wouldn't fly. B, we have that copper 1 sulfide. C, copper 2 sulfide. That one, if you probably guessed it, if it was 2 electrons being given away, you actually end up with this, just CuS, because now you have the +2 and the -2 cancel each other out. So this is what copper 2 sulfide look like. And D, there is a correct response, so that's not it. So the answer is still going to be B. Okay. So with that being said, let's see how we did. Yep, copper 1 sulfide. And we were able to show how we got there. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 13. Alright, so now we have is question 13.